Hi, I'm Michty Maxx and I'm here to share this colourful makeup look using the Sparkle Baby Palette from Sugarpill. I've only used it once or twice before, so I thought I would whip it out, and I've had requests to create a tutorial with it, so here it is. I paired this palette with deeper purple elements to add darkness yet remain colourful and bright. First, I primed my eyes with Too Faced Shadow Insurance all the way from the lash line to brow and under my eyes as well. Then I reached for the Makeup Forever Flash palette and chose the gold shade to apply with my finger over the mobile eyelid, applying a light layer and blending it up to the crease. Now I have the Naked 3 palette and I'm using the Sigma E39 Buff and Blend brush to pick up some strange and apply that onto my brow bone for a highlight, and I'm taking that down to meet my crease line. I have this Inglot number 113 eyeshadow and I'm taking a mix of the light and medium pink shades with the Sigma E29 blending brush, and I'm applying that through my crease as a transition shade, taking that all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner, blending it up towards the brow bone and smoothing it down with the Buff and Blend brush. Next is the star of the show, Sugarpill Sparkle Baby Palette. I'm starting with the eyeshadow Hotsy Totsy on the Sedona Lace EP15 pointed fluffy brush and running the shadow all through my crease, blending it up pretty high so it's visible when my eyes are open, building up the color slowly and beginning to take the shape out into a pointed wing. I'm also buffing some of that eyeshadow into the outer corner of my eye and increasing the winged out shape. I decided to start adding some color at the inner socket and blend it up to the front of my eyebrow. Then I went back to the mix of the Inglot pink eyeshadows and added back some of that warmer shade above the crease color and used that to blend out the inner and outer sections of the eye socket. I worked on the outer wing of the eyeshadow, buffing it out and increasing the intensity of the crease while keeping it smooth. I went back to the Sparkle Baby palette and picked up the eyeshadow Kitten Parade with the MAC 239 brush, and I packed that eyeshadow onto the mobile lid space, carving out the lid a little to define the socket. I wish I had wet my brush to get the maximum intensity out of this beautiful coral eyeshadow, but I'll have to remember that for the next time I use it. I tapped my brush into a bit of the Hotsy Totsy to blend the lid into the outer corner. I began to deepen the socket with the Sigma E47 Shaded Crease brush and the Sugarpill eyeshadow in 2am, taking that into the outer V and through the deep crease. I went back in with some Hotsy Totsy on that EB15 to blend out 2am. I went through the process of layering the warm purple shadow and blending that out with the deep pink shade to get my desired intensity all the way through that crease line. Then I continued working on the inner socket area, buffing some of that 2am eyeshadow right up in that, and blended it up to the front of the eyebrow. I used the larger fluffy pointed brush to diffuse the product and make sure I kept the pink tone of Hotsy Totsy in there. It's always important to blend everything out when you add color, and I'm using more of that pink Inglot eyeshadow on the fluffy brush through the socket and down the nose bridge at the edges there. I enjoy applying eyeshadow to this inner corner, and I think it adds something funky to an eye look. I wanted to go deeper and I brought in some more 2am, and also used that flat paddle brush to merge the outer corner with the lid shade using Hotsy Totsy. I cleaned any product from my tear duct to prepare it for the violet highlight I want to use, which is Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow in Daydreamer, a slippery one, and I started to apply it to the inner corner, and then remembered that it would be more awesome if I applied the dreaded cottage cheese NYX Jumbo eye pencil as a base. Then I went back to Daydreamer and the E30 pencil brush from Sigma, and I swirled that all over the tear duct to give a gorgeous light violet highlight, also blending that out around the edges using the large fluffy brush. I wanted to increase the depth of color around the eyebrow, so I took more of the 2am eyeshadow with the small pointed crease brush and blended further into the inner socket area. I buffed the edges of that out and layered more Hotsy Totsy eyeshadow over the joint with the EB15 brush. I took the eyeshadow a bit higher and also further down my nose, blending everything softly. Now I have the Makeup Forever Aqualiner in number 8, which is an awesome metallic purple shade, and I used it to draw on a winged eyeliner. I avoided the inner half of my lash line to elongate the eye, but not close it off, and I built it up to a fairly thick wing. The eyeliner changed the contrast of the eye, so I went in again with 2am, giving it more of a defined crease line. Then I decided to remove all the eyeshadow under the wing with a makeup remover and a makeup wipe, and I sharpened up the edge. I wanted more depth, so I went in with Sugarpill's Poison Plum eyeshadow on that same tiny pointed brush to get some darkness in the deep crease. And to make sure the look doesn't get too cool toned, I layered more of the Hotsy Totsy eyeshadow over the top and made sure the warm pink transition shade peaks up at the edge. I messed around with more Poison Plum to be obsessive with the blending because that's what I do. Then I touched up the eyelid Kitten Parade shadow that got lost in the blending, and that also helps to carve out the crease a little more. Going on to the lower lash line, I ran some cottage cheese all the way along there for a creamy base that will help the pigmentation of the last two colors in the palette. I'm using Frostine on the inner half of my lash line applied with the tip of the MAC 239, and I blended that in with Daydreamer. Then finally I'm taking Candy Crush and filling out the rest of my lash line, joining it up to the outer wing. I transitioned the center by adding more Frostine between the shades to finish that off. I grabbed the Urban Decay 24/7 eye pencil in El Dorado to apply along the waterline to bring out the gold shimmer in the upper lid. I used the Inglot Matte Gel eyeliner in number 77 to tightline my upper waterline, applying that with a pointed cotton bud and smudging the product into the lashes. I took the product into the inner tear duct, concentrating on getting a fine line on the inner half of the lash line as an extension of the eyeliner and fading out the lower portion. I applied my lower lash mascara using MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara, giving a nice contrast between the pastel colors and my black lashes. Then I curled my upper eyelashes in preparation for the CoverGirl Clump Crusher Mascara in Blackest Black, and I applied a couple of coats of that. I'm going back to my first brow product ever, which is Revlon Color Stay Brow Liner in Blonde. I'm mostly paying attention to the tail and filling in the sparse areas. I combed the hairs through and set them with Benefit Gimme Brow in light/medium. I'm showing the face in this video because I'm doing a little something different. I'm mixing the liquid highlighter from Benefit called High Beam in with my MAC Strobe Cream Moisturizer to give an all-over subtle glow to the skin, and I'm applying that in the usual fashion. And then to increase the glow in certain areas, I'm spot highlighting on the top of my cheekbones with that same High Beam highlighter and tapping it into my skin with my fingertips. I'm using my usual foundation, Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation in number 51 Light Vanilla, and I'm still getting down with the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge to blend it into the skin. And I'm using MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15 to cover up my dark under eye circles and any areas of pigmentation around my nose and mouth, also blending it in with the funky orange sponge. I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Palette, from which I'm choosing Dim Light with the Real Techniques Setting Brush to set the areas I applied concealer and dust on to the center of my face. I went back into that palette and reached for Iridescent Light with my Hakuhodo S113 highlight brush and dusted that all over the tops of my cheekbones where I concentrated the liquid highlighter, also down my nose, Cupid's bow, a bit on the chin and forehead. Since I have it out and I'm obsessed with it, I decided to go in with one of the blushes in the palette. I chose Mood Exposure to go with the purple shades and applied that with my Napoleon Purtis 20B Reflective Contour Brush. And just for some fun, I used Luminous Bronze Light, applying a small amount around the perimeter of my forehead and temples for a bit of warmth and glow. I redefined my beauty mark with the eyebrow pencil and patted it in. Then I went back to the Inglot number 113 shades and blended the eyeshadows into my nose with the E25 blending brush to bring it into the face makeup, and I also went back with the EB15 pointed crease brush with whatever was left on the bristles to keep the deeper pink color strong up in the brow. I got some more iridescent light on my finger to highlight the Cupid's bow further and blended it out with the highlight brush. Since I had it in my hands, I increased the glow on my cheeks because I can't help myself and it's so beautiful. I had a bit of a hard time picking a lip color for this look. I was looking for something that was in the pink family but didn't pull too purple, and I have been trying to find something that will really go with these Jeffree Star pastel shades. I could have gone neutral, but I didn't want to. So I moisturized my lips with Bepanthen ointment because they were dry, and then I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base. I started by outlining my lips with the NYX Slim Lip Liner pencil in pink, just softly putting in the shape so I have a guide for the lipstick. For a base layer, I went for Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in Queen Supreme and applied that straight from the applicator. This shade is really beautiful, but I find it slightly hard to wear, at least with colorful eyeshadows like this. The tone is a bit too cool for this look and the shade too light, so I went in with another Jeffree Star liquid lipstick. This one's called Prom Night, and I applied it to the corners of my lips. I laid more product down to deepen up the color and brought the hot pink in, feathering it towards the center, also pressing my lips together. The lip was too pink, so I tried to bring some of the purple into the lips by using I'm Royalty, but decided it didn't look good and I covered it up with the Prom Night lipstick. I wasn't quite sure about this lip. I mean, it looks great, but I don't think it really goes. I think a dark purple matching the eyeliner would have worked best, but oh well. However, to add some purple over the top, I used my MAC Dazzle Glass in Funtabulous for a glittery glossy finish to the lip. I removed the excess with a cotton bud and went on to finish my face with MAC Fix Plus to set the makeup and settle the powders into my skin for a natural finish. Then after a few finishing touches like fanning my face dry and foofing up my hair, I'm done. I enjoyed putting this entire palette all over my face, and I will be using this palette more in the future because it is really lovely. I liked the pastel blue more than I thought, and the purple is really nice too. And I must use Kitten Parade wet and realize its full potential. I do like the half-winged liner, and think it looks good on my eye shape, and would work well on anyone with any sort of hooded eyes too. As I said, I think a dark purple metallic lip would have looked best, but this pinky purple glossy lip was interesting, and a nice change since I haven't worn lip gloss in a really long time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this palette-oriented tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.
Michty Maxx.